for flight. And the why this other one is the one that covers it to protect it. It serves as a kind of protective wing for the flight wing. The next thing we're going to look at here is that we'll talk about the abdomen. The abdomen has some division. It's segmented. The abdomen is segmented. Around there we have what we call the spiracles. That should be when we turn it around. Based on this drawing, we might not be able to see the spiracles is the structure for what respiration. Now, another thing we should also note here is that it has what we call the circles and also the anal style. Anal style is mainly the feature of the male cockroach. Now, note, we are going to be, by the end of this class, I'm going to show you some differences. We are going to understand the difference between the male, how we can identify the male and female cockroach. They have some features that make them, that help to differentiate them from each other, and that will be very important thing that you should pay attention to the end of the, before the end of the video. We'll be talking about that. Now, like I said, hello everyone. We'll be talking about cockroach today. Now, there's something I want you to understand. If you're the type that always stay awake in the night, or maybe do things in the night, you'll be very, very friendly. Perhaps maybe you have a lot of friends with cockroach. Do you know if you are the type that always stay in the night, stay awake in the night and do a lot of things in the night, you're likely to have a lot of cockroach friends. That's just the thing. Because you know why? Cockroach like dark places, night. And animals that enjoy staying in the dark places is what we call nocturnal animals. Cockroach is one of the nocturnal animals that stay in the night. Nocturnal animals, that is. Nocturnal animals that what stay in the night, that keep in the that is, they move around in the night or in the dark places. So if you know anyone that stays in dark places, or maybe do most of the activities in the night, what those people, they will tell you much about cockroaches. They're likely to know a lot about cockroaches, because cockroaches, they are part of animals that behave so. So today we'll be looking at this. We're going to look at some of the anatomy of cockroach. We're going to be looking at them. We're going to look at their behavior. One of the behavior of cockroach is what we have already told you, that nocturnal. They are nocturnal animals. Another thing about cockroach is that cockroach, they are what? Omnivores. Omnivorous means animals that feed in both plants and animal. They just feed virtually on anything. That's one thing about cockroach altogether. And another thing about cockroaches you also know is that cockroaches inhabit in the habitat where you can find them. Where do you find cockroaches? Where you can find cockroaches are places like dark places, since because they are what? Nocturnal animals. Another place you can see them is their area that is most areas, and also warm because of the type of body they have. You see them in dark corners, cracked areas, because of the nature of their body. Their body is designed to pass through some cracks. So that is one of the adaptations they have that help them to survive. So today we'll be looking at the anatomy of this cockroach. So what the basic thing you should also find about the nature of cockroach, the anatomy, is that the cockroach is made up of exoskeleton. They have exoskeleton. We have two types of skeletons. We have endoskeleton and what? Exoskeleton. And the other one is a hydrostatic skeleton. That will be about three of them. Exoskeleton, endoskeleton, and the other one we call hydrostatic skeleton. That is the kind of skeleton that has to do with what? Fluid. the types you see in something like earthworm, we have this hydrostatic skeleton. So in the case of cockroach has what we call exoskeleton. Exo because it's outside, and this outside skeleton is made up of what we call chitin. Chitin. That is what the exoskeleton is made up of. Now, another thing I want us to understand that the body of a cockroach is divided into three. We have the head, divided into head. We have head. Okay, we have head. This is the head. We have a thorax and then abdomen. These are the three divisions we have in cockroach. So in the thorax is how they are also divided into three altogether, and each of these thorax division has a pair of jointed legs. Each of them has what? A pair of jointed legs. Now, the first division of the thorax is the one we call the prothorax. The middle one is the one we call the mesothorax, and the last one is the one we call the what? The metathorax. Metathorax. It's called what? Metathorax. Remember this, that the thorax, the cockroach, the thoracic region, the thorax is divided into what? Three. Prothorax, Mesothorax, which is the middle one, and the last one we call the what? The Metathorax. I don't expect you to forget this. You don't need to forget this at all. Now, each of them has pair of jointed legs. Each of these thorax has what? Each of these divisions, they have what? Pair of jointed legs. Now, another thing I want us to look at here is that we'll come here, we have the antenna. The work of this antenna is they help them to feed the environment, to communicate with their external environment. That's one of the function of the antenna. They also have eyes. They have eyes that help them to see. Now, moving down to this, you can see the leg. The leg has something that they have a kind of hair-like structures in them, and they use it in movement for locomotion. The next thing that we want to look at here is the forewing and the forewing and the hindwing, or the embryos wing. This is the one that covers this other one is the one they use in flying or flight. And this other one is the one that covers it to protect it. It serves as a kind of protective wing for the flight wing. The next thing we're going to look at here is that we'll talk about the abdomen. The abdomen has some division. It's segmented. The abdomen is segmented. Around there we have what we call the spiracles. That should be when we turn it around. Based on this drawing, we might not be able to see the spiracles is a structure for what? Respiration. Now, another thing we should also note here is that it has what we call the circles and also the anal style. Anal style is mainly the feature of the male cockroach. Now, we are going to be, by the end of this class, I'm going to show you some differences. We are going to understand the difference between the male, how we can identify the male and female cockroach. They have some features that help to differentiate them from each other, and that will be very important thing that you should pay attention to before the end of the video. We'll be talking about that. Now, like I said, the anal style is a mainly feature of what? The male cockroach. Now, something I did not tell you is the zoological name of this cockroach, which we call the Periplaneta Americana. Americana, whenever I hear that name, it makes me have a feeling that maybe cockroaches are coming from Americans. They're coming from America. But anytime I pronounce it Americana, it makes me feel maybe cockroaches, they originated from there. Never can. I mean, I don't really know for then. I feel anytime I talk about it. So, so now we are going to be looking at some of the differences. You know, the male and female cockroaches, they have some difference. They have something that differentiates them from each other. So one of those things is what we'll be looking at now. Okay. Now, the major difference between the male cockroach and female cockroach is what I listed here. Then one of the things for the male has smaller abdomen. It has smaller abdomen, while the female has larger abdomen. Now, in the male has what we call the anal style. Anal style is present in the male. This anal style help them to one of the functions of the anal style is for um during mating. It plays a very important role during the mating period. When they are mating, it plays very important. But in the female, the anal style is absent. The anal style is absent in the female cockroach. Now, another thing in the male is that the male has a genital pouch, while the female has a brood pouch. Now, genital pouch of a male cockroach contains the reproductive organs. Now, where the broad pouch of the female is what they use in carrying that their egg, which we known as urtica. The urtica, that's their egg, is what they use it in carrying it around. So another thing I want us to look at, the next thing we'll be looking at here is we're going to be talking about the life cycle of a cockroach. Life cycle of a cockroach. The life cycle of a cockroach. Talk about the life cycle. Now, cockroach has a very simple life cycle. It's very, very short, unlike what we have in other animals like butterfly, butterfly, butterfly that has a kind of, in cockroach, they have what we call incomplete metamorphosis. They have what we call incomplete metamorphosis. Incomplete metamorphosis. Metamorphosis, incomplete metamorphosis. What do we mean by this metamorphosis? It's just a series of changes. Talk about the change or during the stages of life, different stages, changes that occur during the stages of life. Now, in this metamorphosis, their own is incomplete. Incomplete in the sense that the baby cockroach has some similarities with the adults. When we talk about a complete metamorphosis, all of them look different. What you have in butterfly, mosquito, and housefly, all of them they have a longer life cycle. A longer life cycle because they have what we call they have the larva, they have the egg. For the complete metamorphosis, they have the egg, they have also the larva, they also have the pupa, and then we have the adults. The adults. But in what we have in cockroach, we have what we call the egg, the nymph, then we'll go down to the words adult, making it to be a kind of shorter life cycle. We move from here, there, and then they lay egg and go back again. The cycle continues. Unlike what we have, this is the one we have in complete. Complete. This one is what? Incomplete. I want you to pay attention to this. You need to learn it. Get this thing in your brain so that it can always stay there. So this is what we have. I think let me give you a picture of what it's like. Like what we have here, we have egg, Then we have the nymph. Then we'll go back to the adults. We make a complete circle. Then we'll go back here again. The system repeats itself again. So you see, we have the nymph, the egg, nymph, adult. Then in the other side of it, the same animals that exhibit this, example of them is like what we have in grasshopper. We also have it in cockroach. But then for the complete metamorphosis, we have it in mosquito, we have it in butterfly. These are some of the examples. So the next thing we are going to be talking about here is the alimentary canal of the cockroach. This alimentary canal look somewhat similar to what we have also in grasshopper. The alimentary canal of cockroach look like that too, like that of grasshopper. Now, when we look at that, you have what you have here. We have the head. This will be the head with small antennas here. This is the head. The head there has also the mouthpass. The mouthpass, you can see we have the mouthpass there, even though I did not give you the drawing of that. Then the next one we have just there we have the salivary gland. This salivary gland, one of the function of this salivary gland is towards to secrete saliva that help in the digestion process. So down from the salivary gland, from the mouth there, getting down here, you have the oesophagus, which serve as a channel of the food that's moving down to the wall, the crop. In this crop is where the food stay for some time. The food stay for some time in the crop, and then after a while, after some time of staying in the crop, it moves down to the walls, to the gizzard. This gizzard is where the food is grounded. They are what digested very well. There is grounded there. From there, it moves up from there, gets to the words mid-gut, where the process of digestion continues and absorption continues from there. Then getting to the other end of it, where we have the small intestine, the complete reabsorption or absorption of food takes place there, and from there we head down to the what? We head down to the rectum. After the small intestine, we should be having we'll get to the what? To the rectum. The rectum is where the undigested food stayed for some time. It stayed there for some time before what? Before they are passed out of the body system. This is what we have here. So I want to encourage you, to pay attention to this. And then if you're joining us for the first time, we want to encourage you to subscribe and then share. Let people know about us. And then if you have any question that you want to ask us, you can leave it in the comment section. We'll always attend to you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming along.